Hello everybody, welcome back. As you can see, I'm just about to start a project here. Let's see, since last time I've done a little bit of caving, not a whole lot, but you can see I've got quite a bit of ore. I already processed some of it with the machines that I showed you last time, and made a few barrels for stuff that was getting too big to put in chests. I don't really plan on using a lot of I don't want to use barrels for everything. I do like them a lot, but they're convenient and sometimes they're not, and it just depends on what you're trying to do. One thing that's sort of inconvenient is if you are putting stuff in them manually, you have to put things down on your what's this called, action bar, so that you can right click on it to put them in there. But whatever, anyway. What we're going to do now is set up a much better ore processing station than we did last time with just the powered furnace and the pulverizer. So I've gone ahead and made everything ahead of time so you don't have to sit here and watch me craft it all, although I'm sure there will be plenty of that in the future. But for this build anyway, I've got everything I want pretty much. One thing I have to keep in mind is that for the magmatic engines, I need to leave a way open for myself to get down and fill them up until we get the liquiducts created that I want to make. But that will come after we have to make a few more machines. So anyway, actually, I'm going to go ahead and sleep since it's getting dark and we don't want to hear all the monster noises while we build this stuff. Okay. So this build is going to be kind of a combination of Buildcraft and Redpower and thermal expansion. Mostly thermal expansion, of course. We're just going to use Redpower for the relays, which will function both as a kind of larger hopper, but also as a way to interface with pneumatic tubes from the thermal expansion machines, and you'll see that as we go. So actually first, let me try and explain. Do I have everything I need for this? There are, if you're not familiar with the thermal expansion machines, there are like 3 routes that ore can take to get doubled or possibly tripled. So one of them is you could start like we did last time with a pulverizer and just feed that into a powered furnace. And you basically put your ore in here, it gets split into 2 dust, and then the 2 dusts both get smelted into 2 ingots. So that's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it is to forget about the powered furnace and use an induction smelter. And what you do here is you don't need the pulverizer in this case either, but you can pulverize cobble, which will turn it into sand. So that could come in from this side, and that would go in one of these slots. And then in the other slot, you put your ore. And so you're smelting the sand with the ore. You get automatically 2 ingots and a byproduct called rich slag. And this rich slag can be used further with, you basically would then need, well, I guess you just put it back into the induction smelter. So you take the rich slag, all this is done. You've gotten rid of all of your sand and all of your ore. You've got some rich slag as a byproduct of that. Then you need a pulverizer to make dust out of your other ores that you want to triple. You take the dust, put it in the induction smelter with the rich slag that was a byproduct from the previous step. This is really complicated, I know. And you'll get 3 ingots. So that's your second route, and that's probably the most complicated route. The third route is basically using the induction smelter. Again, you put sand on this side, but you'd put a, whoops, yeah, that's what I wanted. Pulverizer, okay. We didn't need 2 pulverizers. This one's making sand. This one is pulverizing your ore. So you put sand on one side, dust on the other, which comes from the pulverizer. And that gives you also 2 ingots because the pulverizer is splitting your ore into 2. And you get a different byproduct just called slag instead of rich slag, which you can smelt to make rock wool, which is wool that doesn't burn. And that's, I think, all it does. So those are kind of your three basic ways that you can process ore. There are some variations on that too, but that's basically it. So anyway, what we're going to go with is kind of a combination of all of them with this sort of default setting that'll do pretty much what I want it to do maybe 90% of the time. And then because of the configurability of these machines with the where you can change which side is input and which side is output just by changing the color, I'll be able to go in and just change the configuration if I need to for certain things, but most of the time it'll be set up one way probably. So that's the plan anyway. So let's start by putting down the engines, and we're going to have to move these around. Let's see, let's go ahead and put down our wooden, what are these things? Yeah, conductive pipes. I'm bad with remembering what everything's called. So, okay, so there are engines. Above these, we are going to put an igneous extruder, which I did not explain yet. This simply, you put water on one side, lava on the other. I don't think it matters which side's which. And it'll create either cobblestone, stone, or obsidian. And we're going to create cobblestone. And this is actually free. I believe you have to give it power. Actually, I don't know if you need to give it power for these other two, but I know for cobblestone it's free. You just put in the lava and water and it just makes cobblestone. Which sounds cheap and cheaty, except that you can do this with vanilla Minecraft mechanics pretty easily and hook up like a Redpower block breaker and get an infinite cobble farm anyway. So, and even without any mods, you could just sit there with a pick and... Oh, that's interesting. How the heck did that happen? Uh-oh. I think I just found a bug. Let's see what happens when we put it back down. Okay, good. Interesting. Okay, so what I did is, I don't know if you know the new, the way to set something down on your hotbar is you hover over it and press a button. Like if I want it to go in slot 5, I hit 5, it goes in slot 5. Apparently that works when you hover up here. If I hit 4, it goes in slot 4. It's not in the machine anymore. Anyway. Okay, we're just going to use this to make cobblestone. We are then going to funnel that into this pulverizer, which will make sand. And then we're going to use a Redpower 2 relay to push the sand up into the other machines. So we'll put it that way. So we need some pneumatic tubes. And what I've discovered about these pneumatic tubes, it's a little strange maybe, but they will connect to thermal expansion machines only in the input side. So if you notice, yellow here is an output color for the pulverizer. So this is the byproduct color. If I change the top to blue, which is input, it actually does connect. And I also have read somewhere that that might just be a visual glitch, although in my testing, it didn't seem to just be a visual glitch. It seemed like things will go in now, but if you have it on output, things will not get output to the tube. So yeah, that's interesting. And I just noticed the NEI tooltip up there is saying the wrong thing as well when it's hovering on the tubes. So bugs everywhere. That's okay. Everything works the way we want. So, okay. Above this, I may need to go one lower. I kind of did some of this in a test creative world first. And I'm trying to remember how I had everything. So this would be for, oh, that's right. We only need one there. That's why. Okay. Get that. All right. So now we're going to put down the induction smelters. We have 2 of them just to make things a little bit easier. And the way we're going to actually should configure this too. Oops, none of these need to be anything. And we need output to the right. Okay, this one we're going to configure input from the left. Nothing goes upward, nothing goes down, nothing goes to the back, and output to, I'm sorry, actually the byproduct is going to go to the back, and the rest of the output is going to go right into the buffer, into the relay, excuse me. Then this induction smelter needs to have an input. Let's make the sand input. Oh, so I didn't really finish explaining. So like I said, this is going to generate cobble. It's going to go into the pulverizer. That's going to make sand out of the cobble. The byproduct of this is gravel, and that's just going to get shot out the back into a tube system or pipe system. So the gravel will go out the back, the sand will go into this relay. The relay, if you don't know how it works, it's like a hopper. It fills up all of its slots, kind of like a chest does, but whenever it gets a chance, it will spit whatever it's in its inventory out the tube on its back. And I actually have it backwards, don't I? Like that. So it'll spit it up into the tube. In this case, it's only going to be filling up with sand. It also will provide a nice backlog of sand. So this will just completely keep going until it fills up with sand. This will actually fill up with sand as well. And then it'll all stop drawing power, I think. But until then, we're going to get lots and lots of sand built up, which is great because then these induction smelters will always have sand when we need them. So we are going to make sand green for both of them. Green. Okay, so sand will always be in the left slot. Oops, except I did the wrong side. Green is bottom. Okay, so now you'll see this is connected to both. So we're good to go there. Then we want our other pulverizer here and our powered furnace over here. So the route now that things can take are, we can put ore in this induction smelter, and I'm going to go ahead and set that to purple up as being up, and we don't need anything from the right or the left. And you don't have to set all of these colors like this, but I just like to be thorough about it. And then all of the output is going to go out the back. So we'll make that orange. And this one also, all of the output goes out the back. So that's orange. We don't want anything going down or coming up from there. And the top needs to be purple. And that needs to be that needs to be yellow. And I'll explain why in a second. And that needs to be red. Okay. So we know this part, right? This is going to generate sand. This will be filled with sand. Sand will go into both of these induction smelters. This induction smelter is for ore. So we'd put ore in the purple. This will be sand in the green. Put ore in the purple, and that's going to make our two ingots plus rich slag. And this is all going to get put out the back. I'm going to have pipes on the back side here for everything to get output. So we're basically keeping the rich slag in a chest until we want to use it, along with all the ingots that come out of this. This flow is, everything's going to be coming sort of top down. Okay, so we've got the sand coming in there. Here we're going to have the possibility to pulverize ore if we want to do that. So we put the ore in this side. That's going to generate dust. And occasionally when that happens, you get an extra dust of a different metal. So say I'm pulverizing copper. I'll get copper ingots on this side, and occasionally, like it's a 5% chance, I might get a gold dust. So the way this is set up is the copper dust will go down into the induction smelter, and any of the gold dust that's coming out is going to go out the back, so we can decide what to do with it later. And if we want to, we can have it set to go to the left instead, to just get smelted right away in this powered furnace. And the reason you would do that is because when you're doing the induction smelter with sand and dust, you need 2 dust in order to have a smelting operation. And this byproduct only comes out 1 at a time, so you're not necessarily going to always have 2. And let me sleep really quick just to see if we can get rid of some of these noises interrupting me while I'm trying to describe this. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Oops. Let's go kill him really quick. Oh, where are you going? Okay. So, and then we got him hiding under the roof, huh? Darn. All right. So back to this. Basically described this. There are other reasons to use a pulverizer other than ore, so that's another reason we may want to switch this configuration around, because you might just want to pulverize some things and keep them, like blaze rods or obsidian or something. And there are probably some other things, like if we want to make glass, it would be really easy to just set this to output to the left and put in some cobble, and that would make sand, and the sand would just go straight into the powered furnace and we'd get glass. So this one's going to be probably reconfigured the most out of everything. And the last bit here, so I think I mentioned this will make rock wool if we have sand and dust in here making ingots, and sorry, not rock wool, sludge, which if you smelt it becomes rock wool. So this is going to output to the side. We're going to put a pipe right there. In fact, I'll do it right now. I think I need an iron pipe just because it connects. I don't know if that's a visual thing as well, but just to be safe. So anything coming out of here will go and get smelted as well. So there's our rock wool. Then I've got to set up all the pipes here for the output, and what I'm going to do here to make it a little bit easy to transport everything, if I can remember how I did this, I think we put the relay here and it's already facing the right way. And this is going to work because actually putting a relay to the side, it's sort of the same as this, even though the relay is not pointing at the machine will still eject into this relay in that direction. So the same thing here, the machine in the middle is going to eject into this relay, and we need some cobblestone pipes like so. Again, those will get put into the relay, and one here, and then an iron pipe here to make sure everything goes in the right direction. So now everything that's coming out of the backs of these machines is going up into that relay. And now we can use pneumatic tubes. I need something to step on. Oh, weird. Huh. Yeah. There we go. So we can move this wherever we need to. I'm going to go ahead and put it over here, let's say, just for now. Put our chest right there. Probably move that at some point. One thing that we can do here too is just put a bunch of barrels underneath, and things will get automatically sorted into those barrels before they go into the chests, so that might be something for the future. Now, we need to hook up the energy as well, and unfortunately, because of the way all this is configured, there aren't that many faces left, and so I decided to go ahead and power the front faces of these machines, even though it makes it a little bit harder to access them and probably a little bit uglier. But those are the only sides of the machines that don't have any inputs or outputs for items. So we might as well, we're going to run these along here and up like so. And that's all of my golden conductive pipe. These will get replaced by the thermal expansion conduits once we've made them, but we don't have those yet. So for now, that is how that's going to work. And now, so now the idea is eventually when we've got the liquid ducts, I'd like to run them back here behind these engines and have some kind of like a filling station or a tank maybe in this space, or possibly, you know, in this space, but some kind of holding tank for lava that can get piped down into those guys. So I don't have to go down there and fill them by hand. But for now, I'm going to have to fill them by hand. But let's give this a test. Oh, I didn't finish putting, so we've also got these 3 relays. So these are the relays on top that are going to function like hoppers. I'm going to have to screwdriver them anyway. So let's do that. And then we need to put some panels on the back, or covers, so that they, the pneumatic tubes don't go into the relays. Oops, it's not where I wanted it. There. So these are, you know, like I said, the hopper type things. I've got one on all 3 just because the furnace is a furnace, so I can use that for cooking anything, like, you know, meat or whatever. So I can stack a bunch of stuff in here to get cooked. This is the pulverizer route, so I can stack anything in here that I want to pulverize and cook. And then this is the induction smelter route. Okay, I've got it all mostly cleaned up. All the engines are full of lava. We've got the igneous extruder full of lava and water, which you don't need for cobblestone. You only need 1 bucket of each, but I don't know, thought I might as well fill it up. What if we want to make obsidian at some point? I double checked that everything should be in the right configuration, orientation, and all that stuff. We've got the lever hooked up here to all the engines, which are currently off. Found a use for that trapdoor that I stole from the village in an earlier episode, to get down to this crawl space so I can refill these things for now. Lit by a pumpkin just in case. We don't want anything spawning down there. So I should have waited until daytime to start recording again, but that's okay. We'll sleep through this and we'll give it a whirl. Make sure everything works the way we think it will. So let's grab some iron because I got lots of it, and maybe some lead because we're going to need it soon, and silver and copper. Let's get a few different things here. So the most often, well, first of all, let's make sure the cobblestone is being generated and we can't click on that pulverizer from this angle. It's one of the downsides of all this, but we shouldn't need to do it very often. Okay, why do you not have power? Because we didn't turn on the power. Let's turn on the power. Okay. So now you are getting power. Good. This will be much nicer when we have the conduits, because then none of the power will be wasted. But until then, we got to kind of keep an eye on what we're doing. I don't know how much it needs. I could look it up, but oh, there we go. Okay, so it's making cobble. We should start seeing sand coming up into these guys somewhere. Yeah, okay, so sand, there, it just went up. And since this is a Redpower tube, it's actually going to alternate which direction the sand goes every time. So these 2 induction smelters should fill up pretty evenly. And then of course, if either one of them is full, the sand will only try and go to the other one, and if they're both full, then it'll all just get backed up into this relay. So that'll be nice. So I guess I won't really be wasting power for quite a while, although I'm sure I'll run out of lava much sooner than I want to. In fact, just doing this, like I said, they were full when I started. We're already down like a quarter of a bucket, so gotta keep that in mind. Let's try the rich slag route. So let's put some iron into the relay. Automatically gets sucked down into the induction smelter. We've got some sand, so we're making iron ingots, and those are getting pulled out the back. They'll go into that relay and up into the tube and over into our chest. That's perfect. And if there are, the rich slag is I think a 20% chance to be created this way. So if there's any rich slag, it should go the same route. Oh, there we go. There's rich slag, that little brown thing. So great. Now, if we want to, let's say we wanted to triple this copper, and we've got a rich slag, we can go to this induction smelter and swap out the sand really quickly for the slag. And then we'd put, let's put 1 copper in. That's going to get pulverized into 2 dust, which you're not going to see because it's going to be too fast. That's going to go into this induction smelter with the rich slag. We had the 2 dust, and that's going to create 3 ingots, which you also can't see because it's too fast. But those come out the back into the relay and up into the tube, and we should see 3 copper arrive in a moment right now. 3 copper. So that's how that works. However, if we just want to make some rock wool, some sludge for that, we can still put our ore in this line, and it's just going to get pulverized. Anything extra, so if any gold dust came out from doing the pulverizing, would go straight into our furnace and get melted in the furnace. But the pulverized stuff, since it's going down in 2s, comes down here and gets melted with the sand and sucked out the back. And there's our copper that we just made. Again, this is only for the powered furnace, so you would really only use that for non-ore things, and I don't know if I have any like raw meat. I've been moving everything around too, so I don't know where everything is. Where did I move my meat chest? Okay, yeah, so some raw pork chops and some raw beef, and this will sort of show you, if you still don't really understand the relay thing, you can put a bunch of different things in here and it'll wait up here until there's some free space, and we should see, wow, did it already cook everything? Okay, well that's how fast it is. It already cooked everything. But that's all coming out the powered furnace and into the same line. So everything seems to be working the way I wanted it to. One thing I haven't seen yet is any gravel. So pulverizing this cobblestone makes sand up here, but gravel on the yellow line, and the yellow line is coming out the back. So we should see some gravel. Surprised we haven't seen, oh, we do have some. Okay, good, so that's working too. So like I said, I did kind of test this in a test world before, but I'm still pretty happy that it's working pretty much on the first try, so that's good. So here we go. This is our final ore processing for now. This will probably last us a good while, even if we start doing like some quarries or frame quarry, or I know I say that kind of weird, but and I change it every time. Quarry. Whatever we're gonna do to start getting more ores, this should handle it pretty well. I think once we get a good lava pipeline going, we don't have to worry too much about those running out of power. They will probably keep up because each one of them generates 4 Minecraft joules. Each one of these machines, I think, only takes 2 max. Oh, max 4. Okay, so I'm wrong about that. Maybe, are they all max 4? I don't know, some of them are max 2 and some of them are max 4. So we might have a little bit of trouble there. Let's see, that's already 14, so 18. So we could, I guess, be using 18 and we're only generating 16, but most of the time we won't have all of these on. So I think that'll be okay. And the only other thing I want to do is hook up a couple of the other thermal expansion machines so that we can start making the molten redstone. Another thing actually is the same machine that makes the molten redstone can melt down netherrack to make lava, and we can feed that back into this whole system as well. So I do have an idea for something I want to do to get lava from the nether over here automatically, probably just using ender chests, but until then, the the magmatic crucible is what it's called, can burn netherrack, and we're using netherrack a lot for lighting. So I've only got 5 stacks right now. I've already gone through like 3 or 4 just lighting up caves, but we can also use it for a fuel source, so that'll be pretty nice. And we'll probably do that next time. I know I'm probably way over time by now. At least the last time I looked, we were already at 30 minutes, so I'm sure I'll have to edit this down a bit. But that's going to do it for this episode. We spent the whole episode in this room pretty much, but I hope you guys enjoyed this build. And of course, give me any comments or criticisms or whatever. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.